in the next day of feelings, emotions, processing, seeing what is next from the indictment decision for Breonna Taylor. And people have expressed themselves various ways. Some people have expressed themselves through protests, through social media, and through just emotional tears and spoken word and just various expressions. Some people have gone with silence. We see that some people have gone with fasting. We see some people have gone with meditation. We see that some people have gone with prayer. Anything that's in a yin vibration is welcomed for good karmatic value. On our official social media presences, we talked about karma. We talked about how the world is watching America. And in this divide and outlandish and shameful moments that America is showing to the world, to our enemies abroad and to our enemies within. And that when you don't do the right thing, those with wisdom, you know that the right will come from the wrong. The justice will come from the injustice. And it may not be when we want it to be, but it will come and be dealt with right on time. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We are in the middle of uncertainty. We're in the midst of death. We're in the midst of loss. We are in the midst of a new way of trying to survive in this world. But you would think that people would want to do the right thing, so you would get your blessings, so you would get the yin more than the yang, that you would get more good karma than you would get bad karma. But what this is also showing through all these injustices, when you see very blatantly that people need to be held accountable for murder, when you see other cases and it is a different race and the outcome is justified, but when it comes to people of color, in the same incidences of loss, murder, racism, you have to fight so much harder to achieve justice. This is why it's very important as we count down to elections for people to not boo vote and not to be frustrated and saying the system is not built for me. To make your presence known by voting. If you are concerned about your health, which you should be, there are options, but you need to find out in your state and also in your county, when is the deadline if you don't want to stand in line to vote, because we are in a pandemic and COVID, to do mail-in voting. And that deadline for a lot of the states and counties is in October, but you don't want to wait until the end, because you have to go online if you are a first-time person to register, get you in the system, mail you your information, fill it out, and mail it back timely so it can be counted, and not at the 9th hour. Some people feel okay with that, and others, they want to directly go in. But the choice is yours. The bottom line is that you want to be proactive and you want to vote. Make your vote count, not just in presidential elections, but these moments that we are in with this devastating news. For some who feel it's devastating, with the Breonna Taylor case not coming to an indictment, but to this settlement, which still speaks of death, wrongful death. You want to vote in mostly all elections, and especially in the environment that you live in. Because when you vote, you're voting in your district attorneys, you're voting in your judges, you're voting in to all of those persons who are in processes to give you what you need. Okay, we have someone here who's a complete idiot, and I'm going to make sure that they don't hit my vehicle, because if they do, then I'm going to be going off. All right, but get out and tell them to back up, because if they're too close, because there's a lot of room back there in that truck. Just make sure we are live stream. Okay, because they're still too close, right?
Yeah, she's coming back.
Okay. All right, we're still live stream here. So I try to come on here with these live streams, and you know, when you're out in public, you're seeing things and addressing things just to make sure there's no catastrophe. Now, when that person comes back, you make sure you get out, because they are way too close, and they could have backed up a little bit more. Because I'm not in this climate. I'm not in the mood to, you know, any insurance or anything like that. Okay, so what it is, you know, a lot of people are feeling despondent. A lot of people are feeling unnerved, pissed off, feel like, you know, they want to do something. The bottom line for everything is to use your head and use your actions, whereas you're not limited, and you can't do anything else. You don't want to be arrested. You don't want to be killed. But you also want to stand fearless and forthright in what many people feel like oppression or no justice or anything like that. So make sure you exercise your right to vote. Make it count. And again, not just in presidential elections, but also in your local. And I also want to address for people that should you find yourself in a situation here and say you get arrested, or if you're pulled over or anything like that, that you have a contact, someone that you can contact immediately. I would highly suggest for many people to have their local NAACP numbers on speed dial on your phone. Most cell phones have like the speed dials where you hit one and it'll go directly to who you want it to go to, so that there would be someone there who would be there at that precinct when you arrive, or be there to say, where are they? We got the call. That way, you can have someone who's looking out for you until your people can come. And I often bring up that conversation when I'm around others in conversation. Now we have to do a video call, but before COVID came, before coronavirus came, many of us in literature would get together and we would talk about these things. What steps can we do or give people of color who are driving alone, are out and about, and then you have a run-in with law enforcement? We often discussed that people should have on speed dial their local NAACP person and at least 3 others, at the least. Someone you know that you can count on, that will read their text messages, go into action, or call back, even if you don't have time to do a voicemail. And that you get with these people outside of having the NAACP on speed dial, or any other active community people who will be there, in case you get pulled over, anything like that. That you have a code word when you do a text, because the text is real quick. Make sure that it's a reliable person so they can be there. And I just thought that that would be good to put out here as well. Violence for violence is easy enough. It's quick to want to go that route because we're all human. It is a form of expression, but it's not right for taking a life or because someone else took a life. Because karma will surely come. It always does. In history, it never fails. And when you are about that wisdom, when you look at everything, not just through what we're going through with Black Lives Matter and civil human decency rights and all of that, whenever someone does a reactionary thing wrong, or just anything wronged, that right will come and that karma will come. And we've seen that through various forms of history. But we do need unity in this country. We don't need divisiveness. And we need compassion. But through all of that, the amendments, the laws, the additions, those things have to be changed within the body of government, within the body of the law enforcement, within the body of where you live and the overall scope. When you change the laws and you hold people accountable, that's when you start to see more of the justice. And this is why you want to vote in people who is going to fight for the right of all people, we the people, and not just for some people. I am so sorry, like others have said, that we did not get the full justice for Breonna Taylor. But there is more to come from that. This is not the end of her story. The changes that we've seen recently from those who have been murdered, we've seen significant changes, and people are held more accountable. And these steps, though it may seem, it's not enough. It's working and building toward that greater good, and it's building toward change. So my hope for all of us is that we get it together. You make sure you get out there and vote. You make sure you are registered. And you keep it going with others. Because we do need a change. And then you make sure you be active within your own state and your own city to make sure change and fairness and justice is there. This was a big slap in the face. There's no way around it. That the indictment would come for bullets going into others' dwelling, but nothing for an innocent young woman who died. And then do a payout. And before I end this moment, there have been many families of all hues who have gotten wrongful deaths. And they've gotten justice for the person to serve time for death. But be sure, no kill of any kind will go unpunished. That is the law of the land of the world. No, not the law of the land of the world. That is the law of the universe and the powers therein of all of our existence. You cannot take a life and ever expect not to pay. It will be paid however the universe says, through self, through health, through children, generations, anything. The right will be righted. So I say to everyone, keep the faith, keep the power, keep the fire. Keep the strength, keep moving forward. Don't stay stagnated. Stay within the laws, know the laws, and you make sure that you stay on the right side of karma and the universe. We'll be doing more up close and personal moments. We also want everyone to stay safe out here in this pandemic that we are in. We have great persons within biology, chemistry, just scientists, healthcare, who are still doing what they need to do to come up with a certain vaccine to help with the coronavirus. Many of the medical professionals that I have spoken with one-on-one. We're going to try and get some guests on, if it's going to be video call here or just regular call, to talk about more of COVID and the steps that are being taken. But the persons that I have talked to have already said the vaccine trials that are happening right now, these will not be a cure-all at this point in time for COVID. The scientists, healthcare, they all are taking on this virus that is changing every day. Because there are difference in people's symptoms, there's difference in the lingering, consistent symptoms that people will have. They are still trying to find out about this virus. So the best that we all can do is do our social distancing, stay safe, protect yourself, protect your loved ones. And for those who feel other ways about it, they don't want to put on a mask, listen, just like my doctors have said and other people that we've spoken to in the health professions, you are responsible for yourself. No matter what others are doing around, protect yourself, wear your mask, keep your hygiene correct, keep your cleanliness correct, do your quarantines, be out for essentials, act as if you want to live and survive. And we've already got enough of how we can mostly do it than not do it. You have to shut yourself down. You have to quarantine. You have to social distance. Sometimes it can be hard with people for their life livings, but that means you just have to take an extra extra steps to keep yourself as safe as possible if you have to be out there. And we do applaud our essential workers who have to be out there. And again, the best protection is your mask. First self-defense is to make sure everything is clean and kosher for yourself. And we all can get through this together as much as possible. Stay lifted, everyone. Keep it positive more than not. Expression is everything, but make sure you stay on the right side of expression. There'll be more to come. I'm going to finish listening to some blues here. Thanks for locking into an impromptu live stream. Just wanted to come on and just express myself, and hopefully through this moment that many of you can find some yin in all of this. Okay, one more to come. We'll be back, and thanks for locking in. You can follow 1021 Magazine on our official Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook, and then right here on YouTube. Thank you so much for locking in. More to come. Stay lifted and be forward moving always.